Now we're going to create our first database together. So what you need to do is you need to open up a browser and go to Google and type in XAMPP. XAMPP has a couple pieces of software that are bundled together that are going to allow us to create our databases and also allow us to use PHP to be able to run some programs later. So the first thing that should show up is Apache Friends XAMPP, and you just click on it, and we're going to be installing it for Mac OS X. You can do it for Windows. Just follow the other piece, and just come on down. And we're going to be using the universal binary. Let's use PHP 5. So you'll just want to click on the file, and it will automatically start to download. Once the file downloads, open it up. Walk through the process for installing the piece of software, and you'll have XAMPP on your computer. And so I'm going to click out of this. So take a minute, install XAMPP, pause, and then come back. Okay, welcome back. So now we're going to open up XAMPP, and now you'll see the control panel. Just go ahead and hit start for Apache and for MySQL. Some of you may have to enter in your password to authorize your computer to use the software. Open up a browser and then type in localhost. And this brings you to the XAMPP main page. We're going to be using PHP MyAdmin. This is kind of your control panel for MySQL, which is going to be our database. Now, as you see on the left-hand side, I already have a lot of databases. But what you can do is just click on databases, and notice at the top it just says create database. And so we're going to create a database, and we're going to call this Web Dev Basics. Hit create. And now we've created the database. And if we scroll down, we see that the database is right there. So we click on it. And so now it's saying that we have no tables in the database. So we can go ahead and create a table, and we're just going to do test. And let's say that we're going to have 3 column numbers. So we hit go. And now what it's doing is it's giving us the opportunity to create columns in our table. And as you scroll across, you see that there's a lot of pieces of information. We're only going to cover a couple right now in this first tutorial. And the first one we're going to have is we're going to do product ID. And the product ID, we want it to be an integer. That's what INT stands for. Integers are whole numbers, and they're usually positive numbers. So let's just put that we want to have a 3-digit product ID. And we would like to make this unindexed. It's going to be the primary, and that's all we're going to have for that. And now we're going to have, let's say, product name, and that's going to be a varchar. Varchar just simply means text, and we want to just give it, let's say, 100 characters. A single character. Let's look at product name. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The product name has 12 characters. And that's just one character is for each letter of that word. And the last thing that we're going to have is, let's have price. And for price, we're going to use double. And we're going to say we want to have 4 digits overall, and we would like to have 2 of them as decimal points. So we're going to hit save. Now this creates, and if we go to structure, it creates a table that has product ID as the primary key, and you see that with the underline under product ID. It has a product name, and it has again a varchar. It has 100 characters is the limitation, and then a price, which is going to have 4 total digits, and 2 of them are going to be behind a decimal point. And if you want, you can just go ahead and you can play with inserting information. Now, the ID needs to be maximum 3 characters, so let's just say 1, 2, 3. The product name is going to be computer, and let's say that we're going to make it $12.99. Now you could put in information on both of these and hit go, and it would save both of the pieces of data, but for now let's just do one so that you can see it. This is showing you the actual SQL that is being used to insert the information into the database. And so it's inserting the data. And now when we click Browse, it shows us that we have a product ID and that it's a computer and that the price is $12.99. But let's go ahead and try to insert, let's insert something else, and we're going to call this computer as well. So this is 124, so that's a unique number. We have computer, that's the same name as the other product, and let's make this $100.99. And let's hit go. And what you find here is that we actually had a warning. That it was out of range for column price. Well, if you remember from before, we said the price had to have 4 digits. And 2 of them had to be decimals, which means 2 of them needed to be in front of the decimal point. And what we had here by using 199 is we had 3 integers in front of the decimal point. So SQL knows that there are restrictions to that column, and it's rejected this code. And we hit browse, you see that that it was inserted, but we didn't get it inserted the way that we wanted to. The 199 was reduced to 99.99, and that's not what we were trying to do. So we can delete that. Delete. Let's go ahead and insert again, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And let's do computer, and we're going to do 99.99. Now notice how we did 1, 2, 3. There's already a 1, 2, 3 in the table. So we're going to hit OK. And in this case, we get the error before anything is inserted into the table, and it's saying that there is a duplicate entry for 1, 2, 3. It's a primary key. Now, as you see next to the mouse, it's saying click to dismiss this notification, so we're going to click, but it's essentially not allowing us to enter that in. So we're going to go ahead and put 4, and let's hit go. And now let's browse, and now we see the 124 computer and the 99.99. So the primary key is very important, and the information that you insert is also going to be very key. So that's your first database, and that's your first table. And those are your first entries into your table. So we're going to go into this in a lot more depth, but that's the very basics of opening and creating a table in a database in MySQL.